Welcome back to our Inside the Issues special edition of Tucker Carlson tonight. Until recently, Brett Weinstein was a biology professor at Evergreen State College in Oregon. Last year, though, a campus mob targeted him when he refused to leave campus because of the color of his skin. He took a principal position as a liberal, by the way. Weinstein later felt he had to resign. He did. This week, he testified to Congress about free speech on campus, and after he did that, he spoke with us. Here it is. Professor, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Tucker. Thanks for inviting me back on.
So, well, amazingly, it's been a year since all of this happened, and we talked to you right in the middle of it. You've had a lot of time to reflect on it. What are the lessons that you're taking from the experience that you went through?
Wow, it is hard to imagine that it's been a year, but it has been almost exactly a year, and much has changed. I think one of the things that's most important is that the conversation is in a very different place than it was last May. We are now able to discuss issues of identity politics, and though people are still inflamed on both sides of that dialogue, we are able to have those discussions in a way that was virtually impossible last May. It seems to me that there is actually a recognition that the country is in danger, and it's being placed in danger by identity politics, both on the far right and the far left. And so I see a movement led in part by the intellectual dark web, and the Heterodox Academy, and FIRE, towards what I would call the patriotic center, where people who disagree over many issues of policy find themselves aligned over basic American principles.
Yes. So as I recall, I mean, you were kind of caught unaware by this. You were absorbed in your academic discipline. You were kind of a traditional free speech liberal. You didn't fully appreciate what had been happening on campus until you stood up and took the traditionally liberal position that you shouldn't attack people on the basis of their skin color. And you got hounded off campus and threatened with violence. How have you reconciled to the Evergreen itself? Have you spoken to the president of the college? Have they apologized to you? Where does that all stand now?
Wow, they have done quite the opposite of apologizing. They have, in fact, hired a PR team that periodically demonizes my wife and myself in the Olympian, the local paper, the paper of the state capital. And things on campus have actually grown, as much as it's hard to imagine, much worse than they were during the riots of May 2017. So the Evergreen State College has taken a turn towards the authoritarian that is nothing if not breathtaking. People are being fired for their willingness to offer any sort of challenge to the administration. Those who support the administration in its reckless quest for what is falsely called equity are being promoted, and the college faces a terrible financial crisis as a result of the fact that students are not showing up. Having seen what the campus is descending into, people have decided to go elsewhere for college, which has put the college $6 million in the red.
It's all so sad and crazy. So unless I'm missing something, all you did was say, I'm not going to leave because I'm the wrong skin color. I mean, you took a kind of traditional civil rights position, I think, on what was going on at Evergreen. On what grounds are they attacking you? What are they saying about you?
Well, ironically, the challenge, the one that appears to resonate with people on the far left, is that my talking to you during the riots brought violence from the alt-right to campus, which is a stretch to say the least. It's not that there weren't threats to the campus. There were. There was one threat in particular phoned in from a man in New Jersey who claimed to have a gun and be heading for campus. He did not have a gun, and at any rate was in New Jersey. But the argument effectively is that standing up and speaking about what was taking place was breaking ranks in a way that damaged the college. But what is never said is that you invited me to talk to you and your audience at a time when the rest of the press was looking the other way. And what is hard for people to appreciate is that at the time that I was on your program, the president of the college, George Bridges, had literally stood down the police force so that they were unable to intervene between rioters and members of the community like myself. And the rioters took up carrying baseball bats and batons. They challenged people who disagreed with them physically. And so it was quite a dangerous situation. And the idea that at a moment when, as I understand it from the chief of police, I was apparently being hunted for car to car by protesters. I don't know what they had in mind, but at a time when that was taking place in my own neighborhood, going on a program with an audience understood to be right of center was like some kind of sin.
It's unbelievable. I thought then, and I think now, I doubt we've ever voted for the same candidate, but I really admired your bravery, and I admire it now. Thank you, Professor, and Godspeed. We support you.
Thank you.
An upcoming Hollywood film explores the many lies that helped shape and bring about the Roe v. Wade decision. Our Inside the Issues special takes an inside look at that after the break.